guys, and welcome to another episode of FNS Sports Media Podcast. This is episode 22. I'm Cooper.
My name's Aaron.
Let's get right into it. Okay, so we have the MLB postseason going on right now, and it's basically the main show. And we have these two series: the reigning World Series champs versus this team that just recently they spent a bunch of money this year. They spent money this year, and now they're very good.
Yeah, the Rangers are definitely looking like the team of destiny from the American League right now, and really just kind of sticking it to the Astros as we speak.
Yeah, the Rangers are up 2-0 to the Astros from they were just able to overpower the Astros. Let's talk about game 2 right here. Only 4 minutes had elapsed between the time Framber Valdez began his first pitch delivery and the moment when the scoreboard read 2-0 with two more Texas Rangers on base. That was how quickly game 2 of the American League Championship Series seemed to be imploding before the Houston Astros' eyes Monday afternoon at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, it didn't take much. The Astros were coming into that game hoping that they could get some kind of momentum going, trying to even up the series, and Framber didn't give them much of a chance at all to get anything going.
Framber, he can be very good, through no-hitter this year, but he's had his ups and downs, and this was just kind of a down start for him. I think it was awesome how what's his name? The Texas Rangers pitcher went. What's his name?
Eovaldi.
Nathan Eovaldi. He was able to get out of a bunch of jams, but as abysmal that first inning was, the defending Astros champions, they remained competitive. The home runs from Yordan Alvarez, he demolished the fastball. That's what happens when you give Yordan Alvarez a fastball down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, the Astros were trying to make a game out of it. Bregman came back with a home run off the foul pole, making it a little closer. But the problem is they just got put in too big of a hole too fast, too early. It was just completely demoralizing the way that Framber started the game off.
And the Astros they get multiple chances. Their biggest chances in the 5th inning. They had bases loaded with no one out, trailing 5-2. They pinch hit Yainer Diaz for catcher Martin Maldonado. Now, 5th inning, they're losing. Astros losing. Bases loaded, no outs. You put in Yainer, just a perfect time, and then he strikes out on a filthy curveball.
I kind of think at this point, the Astros were in almost the exact same situation in Game 1. And you and I were sitting there on the couch watching the game, and I said, why doesn't Dusty pinch hit for Maldonado? I would pinch hit for Maldonado right here. Same spot early in the game, whatever. Dusty went to Diaz, pinch hit for Maldonado, and it didn't work. But I would say, it didn't work out. Definitely the right call there, though, to pinch hit for Maldonado. So I'm glad to see Dusty managing his lineup with a little bit of a sense of urgency that he did not have earlier this season, that he did not have in Game 1. Sticking with Maldonado despite his weak bat, I felt like was going to be potentially a mistake that Dusty could make that was going to cause problems for the Astros. I was glad to see him have enough guts to pull the trigger on that move, even though it didn't work out.
Yeah, and then even after Yainer, 1 out, Jose Altuve, former MVP, he's 10 for 29 with 5 home runs in his career against Nathan Eovaldi. The right-hander, the Eovaldi, he got ahead 0-2 and then got a high fastball. Altuve just waited, and then finished it on with the splitter that was down. Like when you get that high fastball and then you see that splitter, you're like, ooh, my pitch, and then it just goes down and you can't hit it.
Yeah, they had the opportunities, and if there's anybody on the team that they would want up to bat in a pressure situation, bases loaded, needing just contact. Just needed to get something. Altuve would have been the guy, couldn't come through.
Yeah, and then they got Bregman too. Just ground out to third. But then again, Houston, they cut the Texas lead to 2 runs in the 6th inning. Michael Brantley, coming back from injury only a few weeks ago, maybe a few months. He doubled to score Alvarez from first. Undeterred, veteran Texas manager Bruce Bochy made clear he was going to ride or die with Eovaldi on the mound. I mean, I would trust Bruce Bochy to make any of those pitching decisions. I think that he's just a very good manager.
Excellent manager. 3 World Series titles already. Looking like he's potentially on his way to his 4th. He's got a good instinct for the game. Just a real trustworthy manager.
Yeah, and then the Rangers bullpen, from the bullpen that had blown 33 saves in the regular season continued its nail-biting redemption tour this postseason. Josh Sorbs pitched a clean 7th before left-hander Aroldis Chapman faced the heart of the Houston order in the 8th. Chapman retired Bregman and Kyle Tucker, but the Rangers had not heard the last of Yordan Alvarez, who crushed a first-pitch slider into the right field seats for his 6th home run in these playoffs. Texas, though, held on to a 1-run advantage it had secured thanks to a home run for catcher Jonah Heim in the 3rd inning. Despite striking out 6 batters, Valdez finished with an abysmal final line. 2 and 2/3 inning, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, and a walk.
It's just terrible.
That's not what you want from he was your ace in the beginning of the season because, you didn't have Justin Verlander. You had him, Javier, and Javier wasn't even really that good. And so he was meant to be your ace and gave up that much. And then with 2 outs in the 8th, Bochy turned to closer Jose Lechurick, and again, things got dicey. Lechurick walked 2 batters on 8 consecutive balls before Michael Brantley grounded out the 3rd on a ball Josh Young bobbled before stepping on the bag. I just think another opportunity for the Astros. They just could not capitalize on their mistakes.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you're putting a 4-0 hole 5 batters into the game. You can fight back and play a decent game, but in the playoffs you just can't do that. You just can't do that.
Yeah. And in the 9th inning game, he still remained on the mound, and the game remained in the balance. Jeremy Pena hit a deep liner that died at the right field warning track. Oh man, if that would have gone, the whole place would have gone crazy. But he's just so close. Josh Young slid in the dirt to make a stop and record an out on Diaz. And in a 3-1 count, Altuve hit a fly ball to deep center that landed in the glove of Leota Taveras. Man, again, just like they got to capitalize, but they just did not capitalize in that game too.
Yeah, I mean, and now they're down 2-0. Series moving to Arlington. Max Scherzer on the mound for Game 3. If the Astros were going to make any kind of noise, it absolutely has to happen in Game 3. And we talked about this earlier. The Astros struggled at home this season. They felt like the Astros were better on the road than they were at home. We'll see what happens. Max Scherzer coming off of a long layoff, coming back from injury. Maybe they can come and get him. Who knows? But if the Astros want to make this series at all interesting, they absolutely have to have Game 3.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the Phillies Diamondbacks series. Let's talk about Game 1. Zach Gallen had just thrown 5 pitches when Gabriel Moreno had to calm him down and go out there for talking and cooling him down. The Zach Gallen definitely he's Cy Young caliber, but this was not his. It was not his day. His fastballs were Zach Gallen's plan in the 2 at-bats that resulted in a combined 840 feet of home runs, but he certainly did not want to throw either directly over the heart of the plate. That's where they both ended up. Neither Kyle Schwarber nor Bryce Harper missed.
And then they ended up way in the outfield, past the wall, past the first few rows of the stand, absolutely obliterated baseballs.
Yeah, they destroyed it. And so he went out there, Gabriel Moreno, he went out there to talk. They agreed that the Phillies had no plan to sit around against Gallen. and those 2 homers ended up being the difference in a 5-3 Diamondbacks loss. Gallons talks about they got some fastballs in some locations where they could handle them. They were just like they're ambushing. We were just like they're ambushing. He came out and slowed things down. The word ambush is probably a good descriptor to describe the night as a whole. So far, Arizona's only adversity has been in game. A couple deficits, a couple of injuries. This is their first loss in the playoffs and the first time they'll be playing truly from behind.
Yeah, I just think that the Diamondbacks have they've had no problems at all with the Dodgers. Went straight through them, didn't have to worry about anything going against one of the best teams in baseball. But they are running into a buzzsaw in those Philadelphia Phillies. It's like a bowling ball of butcher knives, just rolling right through everything.
Yeah. His line was he allowed 5 runs in 5 innings, striking out 4 and walking 2. He just never got into a rhythm. This guy, he's very good. He has the potential. He can be good. He's shown that. It's just in this game, the Phillies just got to him.
And the Phillies are getting to everybody, though.
Yeah.
Right. The Phillies did the same thing to the Braves. They came through. And just really just mashing. They're just mashing the baseball, and there's nothing. It doesn't feel like there's anything anybody can do about it.
Yeah. So in game 2, you talk.
Yeah. So in game 2, was more of the same, right? More of the same, and the Phillies came out, hit another multiple home run game for another Phillies player. Kyle Schwarber hit 2 in game 2, and just 10-0, and this series is looking over. At least in the Astros and the Rangers series, the Rangers are up 2-0, but both games were competitive.
Yeah.
The Astros had chances going into the into the ninth inning to either tie, or 8th or 9th inning to either tie, take the lead, make the game competitive. Man, the Phillies just look like the team that is going to. The Phillies look like a team of destiny, a team that is not going to be denied. It just, unfortunately for the Diamondbacks, doesn't look like there's anything they can do to stop the Phillies.
Yeah, definitely. Just the Phillies are just a destroying wrecking ball right now. Now we're going to preview the Texas Rangers versus the Astros game 3. This game is going to be crazy. I think it's Javier versus Scherzer, and Javier, he's had his struggles. Max Scherzer, he's had his struggles this year, but in the postseason, Javier has been very good, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Christian Javier's been good, but at the same time, I don't know how much you want to rely on Christian Javier to make you feel good about going against Max Scherzer. Especially facing a 2-0 hole. Especially facing a 2-0 hole, knowing that Christian Javier is going to be the guy to get you out. I don't know. I just feel like he needs to go out there and just not do what Framber did. He doesn't have to be dominant. He doesn't have to shut them down completely. But you just can't go out there and put your team in a position where you're down by 3, 4, 5 runs early in the game. He needs to go up there, put up a few zeros, and let the bats do their thing.
Yeah, and just hot team right now, just like the Phillies. Jordan Montgomery, Nathan Eovaldi, just lights out. Corey Seager has 8 hits and 11 walks in only 7 postseason games. And Josh Young, Leota Taveras, and Evan Carter are absolutely just destroying the baseball in this series. I mean, Evan Carter. Have you ever even heard of Evan Carter?
No.
Exactly. The Astros, they're already down. They're down bad after losing behind Justin Verlander and Framber Valdez in game 1 and 2. But I mean, they still got some life in them. They'll need more postseason dominance from Javier. We talked about that in game 3, and they'll need an offense awakening against Scherzer. Jordan Alvarez is averaging a homer per game this postseason. That's just crazy. But he can't do this alone. He's already shown he's had 2 home runs in the 2 games, but they need more.
He's trying, right? You can't say that he's not trying. He's dragging the whole team with him, kicking and screaming. He just needs a little bit of help. I mean, just a little bit of help. He gets a little bit of help in game 2, they can win that game. Like you talked about, Altuve striking out with the bases loaded, and then Bregman hitting a weak ground ball to third to end the inning. 2 of your best hitters that are up there, your 2 best hitters, not named Yordan Alvarez, both up there in a big spot, came up with nothing. Alvarez needs a little bit of help if the Astros want to have any chance here.
Yeah, talking more about Christian Javier, his strikeout rate has plummeted from 33.2% last season to 23.1% this season. He gets a ton of fly balls, so he's definitely susceptible to the homer. His fastball is down a tick to 92.8, and his slider, which was a plus pitch over the previous 3 seasons, rated as a -2 run value per Statcast.
Yeah, and that's despite Javier's good numbers or good outcomes that he's had in the postseason so far. Those deeper numbers are the reason why we can't just sit here and be like, all right, we got Christian Javier today. We're definitely going to turn this one around. The numbers aren't there compared to where they were last year, and it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to have a bad outing, and when you have that bad outing, it's not good, especially when you're down and your team needs to pull out a win.
Yeah, I mean, in the ALDS start, he did throw 5 scoreless innings with 1 hit by pitch, 5 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Contrary to the words of caution, the strikeouts were there and the homers weren't. His fastball averaged 93.1 and maxed out at 95.9, and his slider generated 13 whiffs on 16 swings. Now Javier has a 1.91 ERA and 37 2/3 postseason innings, and in his 3 playoff starts, 16 1/3 scoreless innings, 2 hits, and 10 walks to 23 strikeouts.
It makes me think that Clayton Kershaw wishes that he could be Christian Javier in the postseason, and Christian Javier wishes he could be Clayton Kershaw in the regular season. Everything that Clayton Kershaw is not in the postseason is what Christian Javier has been, even though he has struggled, he struggled in the regular season. So who knows what's gonna happen? But I don't feel super confident. I don't feel super confident for the Astros.
Yeah, and now let's go to the Rangers side. Right-handed pitcher Max Scherzer, his 2023 stats, he was 13-6 with a 3.77 ERA, but Scherzer, he did miss 5 weeks with the strained teres major muscle in his right shoulder. Before that, he had a 3.20 ERA in 8 starts since being traded to Texas. The worst of those 8 by far came against the Astros at Globe Life Field, 3 innings, 7 runs. In that September 6th start, Yordan Alvarez, Michael Brantley, and Jose Abreu took Scherzer deep. So, I mean, there's that. They still have a chance.
But I will also say that, Scherzer also faced the Astros back in June as a Met, and threw 8 innings of 1-run ball.
Yeah.
So, you've got both sides. You've got both sides to that too. Who knows what's going to happen? Just kind of worried about Scherzer after the layoff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's getting up there in age, 39. He's 39, but he's still capable of neutralizing an elite lineup. But he's mortal. He's not a Titan or a Lure or whatever. His formerly killer slider rated as a below average pitch by run value for the first time this season. His average fastball velocity, now 92.8, continues to tick downward year over year. His strikeout rate is in his lowest since 2013. His walk rate is his highest in a full season since 2013, and his homer rate is higher than it's ever been. We'll see what form he's in and how close to full strength he is in Game 3.
Yep, we'll see. And it could be a situation where if the Astros can get a few runs early, get some momentum, take game 3, and start to swing the series back in their favor.
Yeah. Special thanks to Clutch Points, The Athletic, ESPN, and MLB.com for all the info and articles. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you guys later.